A tripod allows us to make horizontal movements, or doing a pan, or a vertical movement, in other words, doing a tilt. Now, you could see the tripod as the opposite of handheld. Handheld is considered more dynamic, playful, sometimes chaos. It adds a form of reality to it. You show the depth of a scene more because of that camera movement. So a still tripod shot has the opposite effect. It is static, but also strong and confident, clean. We can create movements by panning or tilting, but that is a controlled movement. Scenes shot on a tripod are more relaxed. So you can actually mix these kinds of shots for a storytelling purpose. Say we have someone sitting in a room, casually reading something. We shoot this from a tripod because it is a relaxed atmosphere. But then all of a sudden the ground starts shaking, perhaps an earthquake. The tone of the scene changes to more dramatic. And to emphasize that, we go handheld and add a little camera motion. There is a reason why we're choosing to film handheld or on a tripod, and that is something very important to keep in mind. Corporate is usually filmed on a tripod because it shows confidence. It's like standing with your both feet sturdy on the ground. However, it takes some time to set up. You need to bring that tripod with you, set it up to the correct height, attach your camera to it, etc. So you might go handheld, but the reason you're going handheld is not because of storytelling, but because it's more convenient to you. And that is a wrong choice. The reason I say that is because this is a mistake that is oftentimes made. I've seen it way too many times on small productions where they start shooting on a tripod, but as the day progresses, they start to shoot handheld to save time and be faster. So think about what filming technique benefits your story or project the best. Alright, now let's get to panning and tilting. It's important that you practice to start and end such a movement smoothly. Once you started with a pan, for instance, you have to keep going. It doesn't look good if you see yourself adjust. If you notice that you are going too fast, simply slow down until the subject catches up. And although it seems so simple, panning and tilting is something that needs to be practiced, and here's the best way to do that. Take 9 sheets of paper and hang them to the wall. Every paper is numbered from 1 to 9. Now zoom in so that you only have one paper in the frame. The idea now is to start with panning from one number to another. Try to start smooth, continue a solid movement, and stop without having to readjust your framing. After that, you do the same thing for tilting as well. And once you feel ready, go sideways, panning and tilting at the same time. Now, it's actually good to have someone else standing behind you shouting a number. That way, it's more of a surprise and you learn to act faster while retaining a smooth movement. Also, experiment with different friction levels. Slow movements have a much bigger friction, allowing you to make very smooth movements. If you want to go faster, you need to turn down the friction. Try to find a good friction spot that feels very smooth but allows you to make fast pan and tilt movements. Now, friction levels don't have to be the same for both the pan and the tilt. In fact, it's sometimes a personal preference, where someone likes to have a higher friction, someone else might not. Now, the friction level can also be turned off completely. We talk about shooting on a loose head. Obviously, you'll see a lot more camera shake, but that's exactly what we want. Actually, it's a sort of way to shoot handheld, but it's a more controlled handheld movement because the tripod is anchored to a fixed point. So do the pan and tilt exercise as well with a loose head. Try to make smooth movements, definitely when you start and stop, but it's going to be so much more trickier though. Shooting on a loose head also gives you the possibility to switch better between the semi-static shots and the more heavy movements. It's also easier to follow someone on a tripod while having that handheld feeling. Now, you can kind of see it as the lazy handheld shot, but don't see it that negative. There's nothing wrong with shooting on a loose head. In fact, it has its own benefits. So go out now and practice your tripod movements with that 9 paper technique, and I look forward to seeing you back in the next lesson.